Here.
OJ.
Here.
Montgomery. Here. Brown.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
Blackburn.
Very well. Thank you all very much for being here. Item number 1 is the consideration and appropriate action relating to our consent agenda. You guys know the drill. If you'd like to pull and discuss, we can. If not, we can entertain a motion.
If I may pull D for discussion.
Sure. Okay, need a motion for the, go ahead and make the motion then.
Second.
Thank you. We have a proper motion, a second to approve item 1, less D. Let's
Do
vote,
what?
please.
Murray.
Yes.
OJ.
Yes. Sorry, yes.
Montgomery.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Morris. Blackburn. Box.
Yes, item 2, letter D, approve holiday bonuses in the gross amount of $1,000 for full-time employees and $500 for regular part-time employees. Mr. Murray.
Yes, I brought up at the last meeting that it was asked of me through a few employees if we could split, possibly split this where they could get some of it before the Thanksgiving holidays and then the other after. And in reading the paperwork, it says employees would receive their bonus on the November 29th paycheck. And so I just wanted to clarify if are we going to be able to separate it where they can get half and half or something of that nature?
I think the intent of the item and approving it this early is not to issue it on the 29th, but to issue it sooner than that. And more than likely, the whole thing.
So you're saying the whole check or the whole bonus would be given to them before Thanksgiving?
Yes. I thought that's what, in my understanding of what we talked about, that's kind of what I thought we were doing, and I don't know, it may be a mistake that it says the 29th, but I thought we were going to issue this the first or second week of November.
Okay. Well, then, if that's the case, I guess we would need to reword it or to reject this and then make a request to pay it before Thanksgiving?
Do you have a calendar?
Yes. It looks like the 29th is the day after Thanksgiving.
Well, could we,
We could make this as a motion to approve
For
it,
the 14th,
amending the date to the
15th.
prior
Yeah.
date,
I will
pay period.
I will say the date's in the memo, not the item. So,
Yeah.
The item just says
Yeah.
you're gonna pay it, it doesn't say.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the intention was to pay this
Yeah.
on the first,
Yeah, we,
Move to approve to pay before Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Okay. Then that would be the motion. Thank
And
you.
I'll second that.
I would like a council person to make the motion, please, if we could,
Okay.
for the record.
Well, okay. Yes, I would make a motion then that we allow this bonus to be paid before the Thanksgiving holidays, so that way it can be utilized more for the Good Friday and the Christmas thereafter.
Second.
Thank you both. We have a proper motion, second for the revision of letter D. Let's vote, please.
Murray.
Yes.
OJ.
Yes.
Montgomery.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Blackburn. Chair Box.
Yes. Item 3 is contract and commercial lease with Bouncing Bison, also known as Fun Box, and authorizing the general manager to execute an agreement and an extension. We're on page 89. Mr. Alexopoulos. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you very much. So, yeah, this is just to have that fund box back. That last year went well, and we didn't have any issues, and we didn't, we were closely monitoring our attendance, and we didn't see any detriment that it caused. We didn't really see a huge bump either, or any bump, but we didn't see a detriment. And this is something that the aquarium doesn't have anything to do with as far as manpower or cost or anything like that. They're self-sufficient, so it's simply the lease of the land, basically the same or near the same terms as last year, but it's a lot shorter. So it's basically 1 month, starting in November and November 15th, I believe. Yeah, November 15th and terminate December 14th. Yeah, so that's what we're asking to be approved.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Algazopoulos. Any questions related to this item number, item 3?
And is this the same rate we paid
Yeah, it's the
last
same
year?
rate. It's the same rate. And, you know, we can, if they're wanting to do it again next year, we can look at the rate and see if we want to change it or not. But, so it's $1,700 a week or $7,000 a month, with a possible extension of up to 4, you know, week by week, up to 4 weeks with the approval of Chris Schraub.
And how long was it there last year? I don't remember.
It was there longer, so, yeah, starting, I don't remember when it started, but it ended in December 18th. But yeah, it was a while, and they kept extending. So, but they had a lot of bad weather as well.
That's what I remember.
So I don't know how much that affected the length of stay or not. So, we're pretty hands-off with it.
Is there any fiscal impact on the increase from the aggregate on the insurance? 2 million to 3 million was referenced in the,
Does it impact us? No.
It says in there, and you mentioned about the up to 4 week-to-week extensions. So there's a possibility it could go through Christmas even theoretically.
Yeah.
If things are working out and the
Right.
city manager approves it and stuff, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
You bet. Absolutely.
Any other questions for the trustees for Mr. Algazopoulos, now that you've taken all the fun out of the fun box?
I'm not very chipper lately. I don't know why. I've got issues.
All right, very well. If there's no further questions, we can entertain a motion on item 3.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Thank you both. We have a proper motion and a second to approve item 3. Let's vote, please.
Murray,
Yes.
OJ,
Yes.
Montgomery,
Yes.
Brown,
yes?
Morris,
Yes.
Blackburn. Chairbox.
Yes, sir. Item 4 is the Aquarium Campus Architectural Review Approval for Revitalized Medical Spa, page 97. And we are bringing Mrs. Hilton. Good evening.
Good evening, thank you. I never remember authority. What do you call yourselves? Trustees?
Jenks Aquarium Authority.
Yeah, but trustees, members. I
Trustee.
every time I get up here, I just get a blank, and then I feel awkward. Sorry. Thank you, trustees. This item is a request for a lot. It has been under contract, or is currently under contract. We had originally thought that a hotel might be built there, but that owner has sold the property, and the med spa is under contract. So the reason it's before you tonight, the way that the SUP is written and the plat is written, it requires OAF and JAA to sign off on this. So I did circulate it prior to tonight, and there was a preliminary approval by the OAF. So it's a 2-story structure. It's west of the river, west of Aquarium Place, and south of Main Street. So it's very close to Main Street. I think that that you're okay with approving a deviation at this time. So staff does recommend approval of this request.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hilton. Any questions from any of the trustees on my right on item 4? Mr. Blackburn?
Nope, sorry.
Oh, okay. Trustees on my left, Mr. Murray?
In describing this as a medical, I guess, spa, do we know what that is totally going to entail?
Pretty much. They have 2 other campuses in the metro area, and one in this case, the word medical means that there's a doctor and they have other medical staff, and they do procedures that might require guidance from and supervision from medical staff. So I never go to these places. I don't know. Maybe Botox injections,
Probably laser and some
laser
other stuff
therapies,
like
yeah.
that.
So-
It's not, I cannot get a pedicure there, I can tell you that much.
Okay, so it's not a place where you can go and get a massage?
No, sir, I don't even.
It might be, some of them do, some of them don't.
I guess my concern is obviously that sometimes massage places don't always adhere to what they're supposed to be doing.
Oh, sure.
And I guess that's what I'm looking at it. if we're approving this, that we kind of have an idea that it's going to be around the aquarium and there's families and things like that, that at least what it's representing is going to be of the up and up, for lack of better terminology.
Right, so it's not that kind of a spa. It is a medical spa where there would be medical procedures and probably less invasive than what you might imagine, but still requiring medical supervision. And probably other things too. Well, all sanctioned by the medical community.
Okay, thank you.
Do you know anything about their schedule for
Development,
construction, when they want to be up and
They have a
running?
building permit in, they
Okay.
have an engineering report in, and as soon as I get the site plan review, and if you choose to sign off, then they will be wanting their approval tomorrow.
Okay, but so would they then be looking to break ground fairly quickly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and any idea of, is it a 6-month or 1 year or
I think they
what?
said they would like to be open by, I think it was sometime in the summer.
Okay.
So they were
all right.
really trying to get, break ground before the weather really changes, so that they can get the foundation and everything poured before it gets too cold and start vertical.
All right, any other questions from the trustees for Ms. Hilton?
No, OAF already reviewed it and approved it from our standpoint.
Okay.
So we're ahead of the ball.
Okay. Hey, I got a question for you, Marseille.
Yes, sir.
On the second floor, right outside the doors there, would they be allowed by right to put in a pergola to shade that area without coming back? Okay, all right.
They'd have to have a building permit, but they
Yeah.
didn't need any approvals from.
Can they put a third floor up there? Put food up there?
I think there's, as long as they're under the height requirement, yeah.
Okay.
And just to be clear, they purchased that whole block?
Yes, the entire lot.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure.
All right, good questions. Any more? Last call from Ms. Hilton.
Question.
Mrs. Morris.
They're responsible for all of their own parking, correct?
Yes. they
Okay,
are.
just making sure.
Good question. All right, anyone else? All right, very well. If there's no further questions on item 4, we can entertain.
Move to approve.
Second?
Okay, I think we have a proper motion and second on item 4. Let's vote, please.
Murray?
Yes.
Ogier?
Yes.
Montgomery?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes?
Morris?
Yes.
Blackburn?
Yes.
Chairbox?
Yes, staff report, Mr. Alexopoulos. What's going on over at the Oklahoma Aquarium?
Thank you, Mayor. All kinds of amazing and fun things. The food truck frenzy was very successful. It was on par with last year. We're gearing up for Halloween right now. Bank First is our sponsor. We're changing up a little bit the schedule. We're planning on doing Halloween on the weekends, the 2 weekends before Halloween and Halloween proper. And the reason for this is during that we had such a long stretch, and during the week we were having a hard time guaranteeing participation from vendors. So we were really struggling to maintain vendors. It was just too much for them. Also during the week, we really didn't see attendance that was worth the amount of effort and overtime and that kind of thing. So, but the weekends were pretty packed. And so we did some surveying and discussed with vendors, and they were much more interested in this setup, in being the 2 weekends and Halloween. So that's what we're planning on this year. And, also, just not having a full building during the week is just, the energy wasn't there. And it just seemed lackluster, and that's just not a great, that's not a great way to create buzz, but when it's when we have a lot of attendance, it's a lot more fun and exciting, and so that's what we're going for this year. Our revenue for this quarter is neck and neck with last year, which is a good thing because we had a great year last year, and we're beating all the years before. So that's a good thing, considering some uncertainty right now in our economy. We achieved our goal and then some on our memberships, which is great. So we really blew past it. And then we had over $29,000 on online sales for September, which is, that's really strong. Some of our projects right now, they completed the backdrop for sea urchin and cardinal fish tank. The backdrop that they installed before had the materials was not what the vendor claimed it would do, so we had to redo it. But they did a great job, and it looks great. The new research facility is moving right along. They're pretty much finished with the metal cladding on the outside. They're doing the rust proofing, spraying all the epoxy on the steel, and they're going to be shingling the roof soon. So that's where we're at with that, and we're constantly going in there. And there's been some minor tweaks and changes that the staff has caught, but all in all, it's going really well. Our Nat Geo photo arc wall, I don't know if I've ever told you all about that, but the staff is doing an amazing job. We're dedicating part of the wall in the spine to the photographs that Joel Sartori took of our animals that are in his books, and they're backlit, and it's beautiful. There's close-up pictures, and then we have the National Geographic logo, which we do have permission to use, as well as ours. And then we'll have, the center will have photographs of him at our facility with the staff. So it's stunning, it really is. When they turn those lights on, it's almost done. We're just finishing up the electrical, and we've got a couple more prints to do, but whenever you're there, you'll definitely notice it. It's great. And also, we're ramping up again the installation of the pipe joints for the shark exhibit. So we kind of took a pause because we had a lot of other things going on, but we're back on track on replacing all those pipe joints. And that's basically what's going on right now. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Kenny.
All right.
Questions, comments from Mr. Alexopoulos? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just want to take a quick moment to welcome our 2 new team members. It's good to have the full deck tonight, and Harvey, if you're watching, and God forbid, please don't be, we miss you. Last call, anybody?
Since we're new, I have some questions on procedures, things like, we're trying to still work on a parking agreement with the food hall. All right, so working on a agreement with the food hall. We've determined that JAA is probably the leaseor in this process. If we're going to require to get some money from them, compensation, that'll probably require JAA to agree to that. And so do we need to present that to the board for a vote, or how does that, procedurally, how does that work?
I think that's something that you, me, and Teresa can talk about after the meeting, like
Okay.
what the ins and outs of that are, because I know that I've received communication regarding this, and I'm not clear at the moment, so I think it would be helpful to talk about it.
Okay. That's it.
Are you optimistic that you're making progress?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
They didn't balk at our latest changes. There's been some discoveries in our last meeting that the the property that we're trying to assign to them or lease to them might be 2 pieces of property because of a road move Keith had brought up or Matt had brought up. So trying to deal with that with Marseille. And then, but yeah, the communications are going forward. We're having conversations. OAF approved a lease to give to them. And so it's in their court to say that looks good or we can't do this piece of that, but I think we'll get there, actually.
Teresa,
I'm gonna
topics like
drag
this
it
can
across
be
the line.
discussed under other business, right? Or what are your thoughts? Because,
No, we can't really get into substance. I mean,
Yeah, I
right
didn't-
now, he's asking just kind of.
Yeah,
Procedural.
procedural question, okay.
So.
Yeah, I was just asking, when do we have to ask for permission?
Really the substance of
Yeah,
it.
just, no, we're good. Just didn't want to go too far, because
Yeah.
it's, yeah, okay. It's always good to have an attorney around.
Legal in the room.
You're sitting in Jeff's old spot, and you're the big chair over there.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, all right. Anyone else? We got 40 minutes, we can throw softballs at Kenny, or live bait, or dead fish, or whatever you guys want. But
Probably have it coming.
all right, if not, the time is 5:25, we'll call it adjourned. Thank you very much.
Chris, I need to pull that
none. Give everybody a chance to have a seat. All right, welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the Jenks City Council. Today is Tuesday, October 1st of 2024. The time is 6 p.m. My name is Corey Box. I'll be your chair for this evening. We will go ahead and, Mr. Macy, if you could please verify our attendance, sir.
Murray.
Here.
Brown. Here. Short.
Here.
Emmons.
Here.
OJ.
Here.
Mayor Box.
Here. At this time, we're going to administer the oath of office. If we could please welcome Mr. Phil Fraser. Judge, how are you tonight, sir? Doing well, thank you. And Mr. Abel, if you could join this gentleman down on the first floor, it'd be appreciated.
Repeat after me, please. I, Adam Abel. I, Adam Abel. Do solemnly swear that I will support and obey.
Do solemnly swear I will support and obey.
And defend the city ordinances of the city of Jenks.
And defend the city ordinances of the city of Jenks.
As well as the Constitution of the United States of America.
As well as the Constitution of the United States of America.
And the Constitution of the state of Oklahoma.
And the Constitution for the state of Oklahoma.
And that I will not knowingly receive directly or indirectly.
And I will not knowingly receive directly or indirectly.
Any money or other valuable thing for the performance or non-performance.
Of any money or any other valuable things for my performance.
Of any act or duty pertaining to my office.
Of any act or duty pertaining to my office.
Other than the compensation allowed by law.
Other than the compensation allowed by law.
I further swear that I will faithfully discharge my duties.
I furtherly swear I will faithfully discharge my duties.
As a Jenks City Council member to the best of my ability.
As a Jenks City Council member to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Yes, that's the door prize. Oh, wait a minute, no, he just said he wouldn't accept it.
We don't need to roll call again, do we? I don't think so. Okay. All right, for tonight's invocation, we'd like to welcome Pastor Ryan Goodnight from Jenks Methodist Church right here on Main Street. Pastor, if you would, take a moment, lead us in prayer, and tell us a little bit about what's going on in the congregation.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Absolutely.
It's an honor to be here for my first time. As you mentioned, I was recently appointed pastor of Jenks Methodist Church, so I'm kind of getting to know them still. I've only been there about a month. So what I'll say is that it's a privilege to be here. If there's anything that our congregation can do to partner with the city, to be of aid, to be of help, let me know.
Will do. Thank you, Pastor.
Please join me in prayer. Father, as we gather here today, this evening, we approach you seeking your guidance and your wisdom. We thank you for the opportunity to serve our community and for the leaders and the citizens who are dedicated to the success of the city of Jenks. As we discuss the matters at hand, may your presence be among us. Grant us clarity of thought and unity of purpose so that our decisions may reflect your will and benefit all who call this city home. Let us listen to one another, engage in meaningful dialogue. May our words and actions today be rooted in love, justice, and a commitment to our neighbors. We pray for your blessing in our conversations and the strength to be able to carry out our responsibilities with integrity in a way that reflects Christ in this city. In light of today's international events, we lift up those who have been affected. We pray for their protection and that you give wisdom to those in leadership positions to be able to respond appropriately. We also pray for those in North Carolina. Please give them peace. Please be with them and bless the efforts of those who are responding with aid. And it's through your Son, Jesus' name, that we offer up this prayer. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. If you're able to remain standing, please join us as we pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor. All right, we have an animal welfare spotlight tonight. Looks like we have Oreo on her way down, him or her. How you doing, Captain?
Good, how are you?
Good.
All right, so this is Xanto. He's about a 10-week-old mixed breed. Found him running at large. No owner's been found, so he's going to be up for adoption, along with any of our other adoptables. Can be found on the Jenks Facebook Animal Welfare page or Pet Finder, Jenks Animal Pet Finder Control Pet page. Or they can call the Jenks Police Department, 299-6311, and talk to Animal Control about any of our adoptables. As always, we have waived adoption fees, and, yeah,
Great. What's his name again?
Xanto.
Xanto. Okay, very well. He's a cute boy.
Yeah,
Good luck to you, sir.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Is there anyone here representing Domestic Violence Awareness Month? Okay, perfect. We have a proclamation tonight, so we'll get underway. As the City of Jenks, Oklahoma represents Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So whereas domestic violence remains a pervasive issue across Jenks, Tulsa County, Oklahoma, and the United States and the world with implications for personal and community health, domestic violence does not discriminate and touches all communities regardless of age, race, disability, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And Oklahoma ranks number 2 in the nation for domestic violence, with about 40% of Oklahoma women and 38% of Oklahoma men experiencing domestic violence in their lifetimes. And in 2023, Tulsa County had 7,192 domestic abuse incidents, 35 DV-related deaths, 28 DV homicides, all of which were the highest in the state. And since November 1st of 2023 to September 27th of 2024, the Jenks Police Department were dispatched on 186 domestic violence calls, had 146 domestic intervention and assault reports, and 12 arrests. And research shows that by creating communities where people are connected, supportive, and care for one another, we can reduce incidents of domestic violence. Therefore, I, Corey Box, Mayor of the City of Jenks, hereby declare October of 2024 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So, thank you all very much for what you do. Yeah, we can give this to you guys if you'd like it. Yeah. All right, want to come grab a quick picture?
Yep.
All right, be right there. I'll go this way this time. And did you guys get the, did you get the bank to?
Yes, they're going to like, last year they did it for Wear Purple Day, but this time they're gonna do it for that whole week of where Wear Purple Day is included in that week.
Very cool.
I think it's a-
We mentioned before Southern Reserve, one of our,
HOA
one of our
meetings.
HOA meetings.
Oh, okay, cool,
Just a
cool.
couple
Good to
months
see you.
ago,
Yeah.
so.
Good, all right. Yeah, you want to hold? Thanks again. All right, thank you all very much. At this point, we'll open the floor to public or citizen comments. If anyone here would like to talk about, address the council on any issue that is not on tonight's agenda, you are welcome to do so. Okay, looks like public comments are none. Moving on to tonight's general business, item number 1, consent agenda.
I would like to, Mayor, Mayor, I'd like to pull item H.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay, we need a motion, please, sir.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda excluding item H.
Second.
All right, thank you very much. You have a proper motion to second to approve item 1, less H. Let's vote, please.
Murray?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Short?
Yes.
Emmons?
Yes.
OJ?
Yes.
Abel?
Yes.
Mayor Box?
Yes. Item 2, back to letter H, holiday bonuses. Mr. Murray.
Yes, just wanted to reflect the same as we did with the Aquarium Authority, that this fund would be dispersed before the Thanksgiving holidays.
Second?
Thank you, gentlemen. We have a proper motion to second. Staff is aware. Let's vote, please.
Murray?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Short?
Yes.
Emmons?
Yes.
OJ?
Yes.
Abel?
Yes.
Mayor Box?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Murray. Moving on to item 3 is an award contract for the downtown master plan to Beck Design, authorizing the city manager to execute the contract. We are on page 116, and I believe Mrs. Hilton has a presentation for us.
Thank you, Mayor Box and Council. This is a very exciting evening. We are at the beginning of the downtown master plan. So staff does recommend approval of the downtown master plan contract. We started this process in February of 2024. We recently had a stakeholder meeting for the downtown, any business owners or property owners on Main Street, and had a very good turnout. I think there was about nearly 40, once you counted, staff. So very excited about the enthusiasm even on the street. The process, we had 5 people submit, and staff is contracting with Beck Design. And they do have a representative here this evening if you have additional questions. For fiscal year 2025, Hunden there's documentation here on page 118. We'll work on an economic development analysis, and the other part of the first year of this project is the parking study for Main Street, and that was the primary concern that we heard when we had our stakeholders meeting. It was unofficial. It was more like a sneak peek conversation, so to speak. So, but that was the primary concern that we heard. So with that being said, staff does recommend approval of the contract.
Thank you, Mrs. Hilton. Any question for Marseille from council on my right? Mr. Brown?
Yes, just kind of a general question and maybe an opinion. I know we've talked about this before. The scope on the length of the study as far as the distance, we're talking from 9th Street to the railroad tracks, or are we going to go all the way to Elm with the evaluation of that?
Primarily for, so parking would be more concentrated, so it would be more from Birch to probably the bridge, so to 9th Street in that area. But for the, like if we were looking at traffic or something like that, it would be from Elm over, so.
So there will be some analysis of traffic. That was kind of a second question.
We'll follow up, we'll give them everything that we have already done with other consultants, and they'll take a look at that, and if there's anything that stands out, they'll let us know.
And the reason I raised it is I know we've just done a major renovation overlay on the street, but there's still kind of a question of traffic flow as to whether or not we've got the most optimal design to move traffic through the city, especially with other concerns that have come up with the mall and then the widening that we've got of Elm. And then the other thing is just I continue to voice this with the narrow space that we have, the number of blocks involved with what we classify as the main downtown. I just feel like we're being short-sighted if we don't take that as far west as we possibly can.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Any other questions from my right?
Yeah, Marcia, you said there were 5
Mr.
candidates, 5 companies, correct?
Yes, sir.
What stood out with Beck that you thought was be the best choice?
Well, they were all very close and all very qualified. So I always want to say that we had 5 outstanding candidates. When Beck came in, they, honestly, personality really was one of the top. Someone they felt very personable, like someone you could really work with and wanted to work with. They had a great sense of humor. Their attention to detail exceeded every other candidate. Their ability to bring in they brought in actual cards that said Jenks, or like little, I don't know what they were, but it was impressive. We really liked them. And Mr. Brown, Councilor Brown, also served on that committee, and he could probably attest to their qualifications as well.
Yeah,
in their
the
interview.
work that they've done in Oklahoma is very impressive. And just looking back to Bricktown was one of the projects that they were involved in.
So they were part of the founding conversations on the whole Bricktown project in Oklahoma City.
Thank you, Ms. Jemmons. Any counsel on my left? Gentlemen? No? Any questions for the vendor? All right, very well. If there's no questions for either Beck or Mrs. Hilton, we can move on with item 3. As in a motion.
Sorry.
Make a motion to
Motion.
approve the
Second.
contract as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you both. We have a proper motion and a second to approve item 3. Let's vote, please.
Murray?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Short?
Yes.
Emmons?
Yes.
Ogier?
Yes.
Abel?
Yes.
Mayor Box?
Yes, congratulations. This is a big deal. I remember Josh Driscoll pounding this into our head many years ago. So we've come a long way. This is very, very good. Good for downtown, good for us. I imagine it'll take a while, but we are on the right track. Thank you, Mrs. Hilton. And please thank the committee for all their work. Moving on to item 4, ordinance number 1654, related to JZ or Jenks zoning 24 PUD 150, a request for a planned unit development overlay at the general location of the southeast corner of 101st Street and South Lewis. We are on page 184, if you're following along. Mrs. Hilton.
Thank you, council. This is a project that you are familiar with. This is, we call it ITR, or in the raw. It was originally 10 acres on the west side of the river and south of the railroad, or actually south of 101st Street, not railroad tracks, south of 101st Street, and I'd say east of the outlet mall. And in this PUD, it's about 2 acres. So essentially, in November of 2023, we rezoned this property to RTC, which is Riverfront Tourist Commercial. And they were working on their site plan, and when I did the evaluation on the site plan, we realized that it didn't really comply with the RTC zoning. So they're back before you tonight. They're asking for 2 exceptions, and one of them is to allow the river to be the front yard so that they can be set back 0. RTC requires 0 to 60 feet setback, and they would have never met that if the Lewis had been the front. So that is one exception they're asking for. And then the second one is an exception to the sign height for a multi-tenant sign and a single-tenant sign. So on page, let's see, 185 of your packet, it shows that it's 2 acres of the 10. And you can see there that their request up at the top says reduction of side yard setback and relief from 60-foot front yard setback and increase in signage height in the area. So then if you go down, it shows you the sign exception. So with that being said, I don't have any more comments. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Staff does recommend approval, and Planning Commission has recommended approval of this request.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hilton. Any questions for Marseille as it relates to item 4? Council on my right, Mr. Brown?
Yes, I know that we did have some items that were removed or not permitted on the usage development standards in the PUD. I do have some remaining concerns, recognizing the limited space that we have for retail and commercial use. There's some items that are permitted under this group that I just question whether or not they're going to be appropriate for the area. For example, medical, dental office, professional office. If we've got service-related businesses that are going to be in this facility, that's going to be non-tax revenue generating and taking up what could be local retail. Any chance that we might be able to get those excluded under the PUD?
I think on medical office and professional office, they are not really going to be willing. That was one of their key proposals for this site. So the ownership themselves operate a medical office, and they want to have their business on this site.
So then that raises a question, the ambiance of looking at the river. If you're in a dental chair, you know, why look at the river? So
Well, okay. So in the general PUD, it will be there. In this particular site plan, this is primarily a restaurant for the site. But I think in general, they would not want to strike it from the PUD. Because they could always go up a second floor or a third floor maybe if they wanted to and have their office up there. But right now, it's primarily approval of a restaurant and they want to face the river.
So what about maybe restricting the first floor for retail? Again, we're talking
The
about.
applicant is present and we
Okay.
can have that conversation. I think I would like to maybe have that broader conversation during the update of the UDO in November.
Okay.
So I think when we brought all of these uses in the initial UDO adoption, it was not favorable with the public to strike office uses. So, but I'm happy to have that conversation again for downtown core and for the RTC.
Again,
do
I
understand.
know there's, as I look at Ward 1, I look at, it would be a real danger for us if all of Ward 1 were, for lack of better terms, insurance offices or law practices. That's not utilizing, it's not even the highest and best use of our land in this area. And as far as the River District, again, just a concern as to whether or not it's the highest and best use, if it's going to be used for office.
And if we could clarify,
Yes,
there's 10 acres
yes, sir.
that is the subdivision. But when we're talking about this PUD, it's just
2 acres,
2 acres,
2.03.
which is what
The restaurant.
the
is going on.
restaurant is planning to go on. And so I think, I understand the counselor's point, but
Yes.
in all of the site plans that I've seen, anything, it's pretty well established, this is the restaurant location, and the office use would be on Lewis.
Yes, sir.
So.
That is what I
Yeah,
understand
so,
as well.
so we understand your point, but I think in this case, we trust that, you know, what we've seen related to the restaurant, that this is where this is going.
And this won't just be a doctor's office. There's a variety of uses here in what we'll call this complex that generate sales tax, hotel tax. I don't know if that's still on the table for them or not, but there's potential plans for that to happen as well. You're not familiar with the vision of what they're doing here?
No, I recall when we had presentations on this
Okay.
in the past. It's just, again, it's caveat
Yeah.
that be careful what we approve.
Yeah.
Because we're stuck with that moving on.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not
this would
opposed to
not-
doctor's offices, just not where we should have all of our heavy retail
Yeah,
activity.
yeah.
And the
No,
vice mayor I'll make a point for her, is this is actually her ward. It's not Ward 1
Oh, I'm
anymore.
so sorry.
yeah.
You are.
I get ripped every time.
I'm so sorry.
Just kidding.
No.
I was going to gladly accept.
With the redistricting, Ward 1 moved further west
right.
and
It
north.
absolutely
yeah.
did.
Yeah, it's on the south side of the bridge.
Never should have been invited to that meeting, John. All right. Any other questions from council on my right? Okay. Questions on my left?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Quick clarification, the sign, is it the height of the
It
sign?
is the height. I
So
don't
is this
think.
like a
Let me ask
monument
Mr.
or-
Capron. It's just the height that we were amending. It was not the. Okay. So the code would allow for a 7-foot tall single tenant sign, and they're asking for a 10.
Okay.
So 3 extra feet. And then on the multi-tenant, it only allows, the UDO, if you're straight zoning, allows for a 14-foot sign, and they're asking for a 20-foot sign.
And this sign, if I recall, if I'm looking on page 202, I know this is kind of a draft, but it's on the west side of the physical building. This is the 10-foot sign. Where the roundabout, turnabout is, on the west side of the
Yes, I
physical
see.
structure. Is that where the 10-foot sign is going to be?
Sorry, Brandon, can you zoom in? I can't see that.
Yeah,
Put your hand right on that. Yeah.
I noticed it immediately. But it's okay.
Is it in the middle of the island? Thank you.
Just need
Yeah, that word. Yeah, is that it? Is that where we're intending the 10-foot sign?
I'll let Mark answer it.
Okay.
I can't tell, and I don't remember. Can you, let me look at the whole.
Your left?
Okay.
And this is, my name is Mark Caper, and I'm 123, at 123 North Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Wallace Design. This is a little bit unusual than what I'm used to, in that we had an original PUD for the whole subdivision. And it's our understanding now that we only have this really on the hook. This is the one thing that's the anchor that's driving this whole development. And we weren't able to do the whole subdivision within the PUD because we just don't have any of those developed. And the ordinance here in Jenks does not allow us to draw up a cartoon and do something different later, that we need to go ahead and just know what we're doing with the original PUD. And that kind of, what I anticipate is that as this develops, we'll be here, or somebody will be here in front of you again with another complete set of plans and well-defined site. Because right now, we could draw up anything, but it's just not going to be reality of what it's going to be. We anticipated that this was going to be an outdoor recreational space, and that's not what's on before you now. And so what we're doing now is just this one lot out of these 4 areas, and it's the restaurant. We've been working with this particular developer for some time. Originally, they were under contract for a piece of property along the river in Tulsa, and they decided to come here. I think they're excited about it. We talked to them at length about the setbacks, and they were like, why would we ever not want to have our building next to the river? And I think to your point of offices, I think the anticipation is that this will not be strictly a retail or strictly restaurant. And it's sure not going to be strictly office. It's just not really what this kind of property is going to be able to pull in, dollars per square foot, just on the retail aspect of it. But I think the anticipation is a mixed-use development that will have several different items. And quite frankly, everything that's going to be on the riverside is going to be something that's going to, where you're going to have a lot of people and take advantage of the view of the river. And that's what before you now, too, is we're trying to move the building to the river, and the river trail is going to be our frontage and not the interior of the subdivision. So that's why we're here in front of you today. And then we also want to have some signage when, as this thing expands, have some signage that will be able to, recognize all the different uses that are in this. And I can't tell you what the other parcels are going to be.
And Mark, getting back to the point of, it's kind of confusing because there's 10 acres, this is 2 acres, the intent is to put a restaurant, the restaurant is the thing that's driving the whole development at this point.
Right.
So, I mean, whether it says office or whatever else, the plan is this is going to be a restaurant.
That's
Yep.
true, yes. And if this project didn't happen, though, we wouldn't be here right there. This is what's driving the project,
Okay.
the whole subdivision.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Capron. Any questions, further questions from Mr. Capron, while you have him?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you very much, appreciate it. All right, we can close the floor to council. We can open the floor to the public. If anyone would like to make a comment on ordinance number 1654, PUD 150, please do so. All right, no questions from the public related to Jenks zoning. We will close the floor to the public, come back to council. Last call, anyone? All right, very well. If there's no questions, no further comments, we can entertain item 4.
Motion to approve JZ 24 PUD 150 as presented.
Second.
Thank you both. We have a proper motion and a second. Let's vote, please.
Murray?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Short?
Yes.
Emmons?
Yes.
Ogier?
Yes.
Abel?
Yes.
Mayor Box?
Yes, item 5 is the emergency clause for ordinance number 1654.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Thank you both very much. Proper motion, second. Vote, please.
Murray?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Short?
Yes.
Emmons?
Yes.
Ogier?
Yes.
Abel?
Yes.
Mayor Box?
Yes, other business, Mr. Shrout, city manager's report. Anything?
No, sir. I handed out a list of upcoming events. There's quite a few coming up, so please let Sarah Tackmill know if you plan to attend.
Thank you. Any call from council, committee work, anyone? All right. I would pleased to say, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this last month's sales tax check to the city of Jenks was the highest in the history.
Correct.
Highest ever, and that
Yep.
does not include, that's prior to the mall opening. So this is the largest single sales tax collection check in Jenks history. So we are doing a good job. Thank you to staff. Thanks to council for being pro-business. We are growing our economy, and frankly, I think we're in a good position to grow our wealth for this city. And wealth for the city of Jenks means keeping taxes where they are, or maybe even keeping them lower, making them lower in the future. So this is all good news, and congratulations to all of you and to our residents who go out there and spend their money and keep it local. Thank you guys very much. The time
Mayor,
is...
if I may, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Back committee, I'm sorry, you just skipped on it. I just want to allude to, last week I helped teach child passenger safety, 3-day school. We have 7 firefighters from our own fire department who are now certified in child passenger safety. And so that's added to our complement of what we already have.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Murray. Appreciate you doing that. Anyone else? Last call. All right, very well. The time is 6:31. The Jenks City Council meeting is adjourned. We will continue on with the Jenks Public Works Authority. Roll call, please.
Murray.
Here.
Brown. Here. Short.
Here.
Emmons.
Here.
OJ.
Here.
Abel. Here. Chairbox.
Here, item number 1 is consent agenda. Anyone like to discuss, or should we move to approve?
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Thank you very much. We have proper motion and a second on item 1. Let's vote, please.
Murray.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes?
Short.
Yes.
Emmons.
Yes.
OJ.
Yes.
Abel. Yes. Chairbox.
Yes, I will say for item F, for those of you that are paying attention, this is an excellent and significant investment in a piece of property that will create an awesome future for the city of Jenks. We're thinking 50 years down the road. This is a part of town that nobody's thinking about, 121st and Highway 75. And when you hear me say a new season of economic prosperity, this part of town, maybe even more than the mall, is a big part of our future success. So thank you guys for your consideration and your approval. Item 2 will pull. Mr. Shroud, anything else? General Manager's report?
No, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Time is 6:33 p.m. Jenks Public Works Authority meeting is adjourned. We have one more for you. Okay, the special meeting for the Jenks Economic Development Authority. Roll call, please.
Murray.
Here.
Brown.
Here?
Short.
Here.
Emmons.
Here.
OJ. Here. Abel.
Here.
Mayor Box.
Here, item number 1 is our consent agenda. Anybody like to pull A through C, or do we want to make a motion to approve as presented?
Motion to approve as is.
Second.
Thank you. We have a proper motion and a second on our consent agenda. Let's vote, please.
Murray.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes?
Short.
Yes.
Emmons.
Yes.
OJ.
Yes.
Abel.
Yes.
Mayor Box.
Yes, item 2, we will pull. Moving on to other business, last call from council. Anyone? Very well. Mr. Abel, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Your first meeting, wow.
He's a good luck charm.
35 minutes.
Record time.
They're not all like this.
Yeah.
November might be brutal, but, all right. Thank you, sir. Time is 6:35. Thank you for being here tonight to the public who attends, and for the thousands and thousands watching us on YouTube. We appreciate it. We are adjourned.